All right, we're going to go through these questions on page 248. These ones right here. These are all like rationals and exponent questions. All right, let's do these ones. So, one is asking about radicals, square root of 112. What it's asking to do is it wants us to write it as a mixed radical. Sorry. So what we have to do is we have to write it as like basically two radicals that multiply to create 112. So what I kind of like to do is write out all the squares so I can see them. And I have to figure out which one actually is a factor of 112. So we have 16 times 7 gives us 112. And the idea is that square root of 16 can be written as just 4. So we turned it into this, and that's our final answer. When it's fourth root, it works the exact same way. We just need to write it as a different number. So I'm pretty sure it's 3 is 81. Yeah. So the idea is that 81 times 2 gives us 162. So these two multiplied together gives us the fourth root of 162. But we can simplify this to turn it into 3. Oops. And then that would be our final answer. 3 times the fourth root of 2. The second part of the question, number 12, is actually a lot easier. What is it? 4 cubed root 3. So the idea is we need to turn the 4 into something that is cubed root and multiply it by cubed root 3. So we're going to do 4 cubed to figure out what it is. So that's going to be 64, right? Yeah, just checking. 64. Okay, so the 4 turned into the cubed root of 64. They're the same thing. Now we multiply that by 3. We end up getting 192. And it's still cubed root. Okay? To do the next one, to fourth root 2, we're doing the same thing. We want to change the 2 into whatever something fourth root is. Again, I think it's 32. Sorry, 16. And then when we multiply those together, we get fourth root of 32. And that's the final answer for that one too. That's how it works. So let's try doing these 4. They're kind of weird. These exponent law questions are pretty daunting. But they all apply the same process. So what we're going to do is apply this exponent to the 3 things inside the brackets. So 16 negative 1 over 2. We'll simplify that one after. A squared times negative 1 over 2 turns into negative 2 over 2. And then b, oh sorry, that's a 6, will turn into negative 6 over 2. So now we can simplify. The negative means that everything is going to move to the denominator because each term or each part has a negative exponent. And then when we do it, 16 to the negative 1/2 is the same as 16 square rooted to the negative 1. So it becomes 1 over 4. A to the negative 2 over 2 is the same as a to the negative 1. So when we move it to the bottom, it becomes a to the 1. And then b is going to reduce to just b cubed because, again, we moved it to the bottom. So it became that. And then that's the final answer. Yeah. The second one 2/3. Okay. The first thing we're going to do is deal with the stuff inside the bracket. So I have r cubed divided by r negative 2. I'm going to subtract those. So it becomes r3 minus negative 2, which is just r to the 5. Remember, whenever you're doing subtraction like this with denominators and exponents, the answer always is on the top, the numerator. Okay, and then the s is going to be s to the negative 1 minus negative 2. So it's going to become just s to the 1. Now we need to apply our exponent. There actually is no denominator. So we get r to the negative 10 over 3 and s to the negative 2 over 3. So again, I'm going to put them both on the denominator because they're negative. Just double checking they're negative. Yep. So let's make it r to the 10 over 3 and s to the 2 over 3. And that's it. There's nothing else we can do to simplify. So that one's done. Here, we'll do these two over here. So we have a cubed over a5 power of a to the negative 3. Let's do the division first. So remember, we're going to subtract. So it becomes a to the negative 2 times a to the negative 3. Remember, when you're multiplying, you're adding. So it's going to become a negative 2 plus 3. Plus negative 3. So it becomes a to the negative 5 as your final answer. This next one's x squared y over x to the power of half y to the negative 2. So the x is going to become x 2 minus a half becomes x 3 halves, negative 3 halves. And then the y is y to the power of 1 minus negative 2. So there's a 1 here. When we're doing double negative, it becomes y to the power of 3. So the last thing is it's going to simplify. The 3 is on top. The x moves to the denominator, 3 over 2. And that's it. That's our final answer. Let me double check. Yep. Right. So the final question is this one. When you read it, the only thing that we really need to figure out is what n is. And it actually says it right here. When it says 9 semitones below, pretty sure that means negative 9 because it's below, so it's a negative number. So we're going to sub it in. Right? So I'm going to apply this exponent like we normally would. So it becomes like this. 2 to the power of 9 over 12. Because the 9 got applied and the 2 became the denominator because it's rooted. Okay? I can actually simplify this. So it becomes f equals 440 to the power of negative 9. There we go. So 2 to the power of negative 3 over 4. Cool. So it's become 1 over 2 to the 3 over 4, which is like 1.68, something like that. Okay. Put in your calculator, figure it out. And then when you do it as your final answer, sorry, give me one sec. You get 261.9, and I think the question asks you to round it to nearest hertz or whatever it is, and that's your final answer. So, like I said, this question's only hard because you have to figure out that n is negative 9. Once you know that, you just apply exponent law and figure out your answer. And that's it.